بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيد محمد. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Today I will inshallah be sharing with you the story of our sister Rufaydah and her journey with Surat al-Baqarah. She says, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah bless you all, our brothers and sisters who follow بلغوا عني ولو آية, convey from me even one verse. I will try to inshallah share my story with the recitation of Surat al-Baqarah 4 times and summarize everything that happened to me, at least the most important parts. First, I began reciting Surat al-Baqarah 4 times after seeking forgiveness for around 9 months. More or less, I believe it was more than 9 months. I remained constant in seeking forgiveness and reaped all of the fruits of it. All of them. The rain, wealth, children, the marriage of the children. Everything by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then I started with Surat al-Baqarah. I started reading it in the first week and didn't feel anything. I was also used to reading it since 2006. I used to read it every day. So when I recited it 4 times at first, let's say the first 4 or 5 days, I read it normally and nothing happened. Then little by little, I started to feel scared. I would look behind me. I would see some things like illusions. I would have nausea, extreme sleepiness. Something happened to me that also happened during my time of seeking forgiveness, which was inflammation of the eyes and the throat, which was strange. But I insisted, I persisted and struggled, and Surah Al-Baqarah became very heavy, indescribably heavy for me after the first week. I fought myself. Sometimes I would read it at night. Sometimes I would sleep and wake up to find the Quran still in my hands. Extreme sleepiness, heaviness, and it's not normal sleepiness. I would try to resist it strongly. I kept a spray of cold water beside me, ma' murqi, which is the water that has Quranic verses recited over it. And I would spray my face with it to refresh and wake myself up. And I would continue. Illusions and fear increased. It became an overwhelming fear that suddenly I would feel terrified with shivers and heart palpitations. I would look behind me. And I've been reciting this since 2006. So I tried to calm myself and say, Fear Allah, this is from Satan, and sought refuge in Allah from Satan. I would repeat the Quran of remembrance, Taj Dhikr, and kept repeating it. Then I entered another phase where my left foot started to throb. Something would beat and move, going up and down. Especially while reciting Surah Al-Baqarah or shortly after is when I would feel that. I would feel suffocated, and while reciting, sometimes my right leg would shake and sometimes my left leg. I would feel tension and anxiety while reciting, tingling, and sometimes a cold or hot breeze. I would feel this breeze, especially coldness, as if it's coming from between my shoulders and my back, like something was exiting. I started changing the place I prayed because I began to feel scared. If I prayed in the living room, I would be scared, and so I moved to the bedroom, remembering that Satan doesn't open doors. So I would seek refuge in Allah from Satan and say, in the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate, and close the door to the room. This fear started to fade away little by little. Then I entered another phase of question and answer. It was as if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inspired me with some questions. I would remember some situations in my life while I'm reading Surah Al-Baqarah, and a voice inside me asks, who saved you back then? And I would say, Allah. Who helped you in that situation? I would say, Allah. Who protected you from that affliction that you saw coming towards you? I would say, Allah the Exalted. So I began to feel as though I was being tested, and the other things started to fade. The fear faded. The sudden panic faded. The trembling, the nausea, the blurriness in the eyes, the illusions I was seeing in front of me, the people who suddenly began appearing in my life and calling me or wanting to visit. This was all from Satan to prevent me from continuing with reciting Surah Al-Baqarah 4 times. The problems inside the house, you don't even want to know. Problems would arise out of nowhere, and you would start to feel like everyone was against you. My husband started to ask me to knead every day. He would say that he wants this and that, food that require kneading every day and causes fatigue, standing in the kitchen for long periods of time. But I knew this was from Satan, so I was patient. I was patient with myself and endured. How could I not? When I was trying to give strength to others, sisters would complain to me and I couldn't complain to anyone. Sometimes I would ask my brother Hijazi and he would say to me, continue and be patient, this is the path. After that period of test, a very beautiful time it was, I reached the phase of love, the love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All of this was by Allah's grace. Then Surah Al-Baqarah, I started feeling that Allah was comforting me, reassuring me. I would remember some things and I would cry out of love for Allah, for Allah's sake. I would recall some situations and say, oh, the beauty of Allah. And I would remember some sins and say, glory be to the one who protected and preserved me and did not unleash punishment upon me until now. This, in short, is what happened to me with Surah Al-Baqarah. Then I felt it was time, with a sense of tranquility, that it was time to read Surah Al-Baqarah 3 times. The period of reciting Surah Al-Baqarah 4 times lasted about a month and a half, or a little over that, around 20 days. Then by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I recited it 3 times, and then I felt it was time to move with 2 times daily. And now I'm settled with reciting it once. Praise be to Allah, Lords of the worlds. This is Surah Al-Baqarah. Now the house is calm, full of peace, full of stability. Things are easy, of course, along with continuing seeking forgiveness. What also happened when I recited Surah Al-Baqarah 4 times is that my seeking forgiveness decreased. The least I reached was 5,000, which saddened me greatly, but I rarely reached 7,000, 8,000, and rarely did I exceed 12,000. And by decreasing Surah Al-Baqarah, the seeking of forgiveness increased. Calm house, abundant provision, health and well-being. I am 53 years old and my health is like that of a 20-year-old girl in every sense of that word. I run inside my house, jump, cook, clean, go out. I have amazing energy, mashallah. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. I work at night and my sleep has become less, yet praise be to Allah, I am in full health and well-being. My face used to also suffer from sihr mar'at, which is when someone does black magic and destroys your beauty. My face was full of pimples and spots. My whole face was disfigured. Alhamdulillah, my face has improved now, and every day I see myself with a more beautiful face. Praise be to Allah. This, in short, is my state with Surah Al-Baqarah. I hope I have benefited you. Peace, mercy and blessings of Allah be upon you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.